Welcome to another episode of Live with Dell Anthony. I'm your host, Dell Anthony, so hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit your comments below. Remember, without you, there's no me. So let's get into it. I want to talk about a couple of topics today, but the first one I want to talk about is the NBA playoffs. Of course, you see that Denver took a 2-1 lead in the series. Denver, when they're working together, they're hard to beat. Jokic, guys, we need to start giving credit where it's due. I know, we like to take, America likes to take credit for a lot of things, not give credit to other countries when it comes to sports. But just like Otani, I believe, in baseball with the Angels, Jokic is the real deal. I think the reason you don't call him the best player right now is because you all feeling the Greek Freak. But honestly, Jokic is way better than the Greek Freak. Way better. Because he doesn't act mean or act tough doesn't mean he's not a great player. I mean, no matter what you do, he's a triple threat waiting to happen. He's a triple double man waiting to happen. And last night they had two guys with triple doubles last night. They had him and your boy Murray. Murray is a killer. We got to start looking at him. He was injured the previous 2 years, but honestly, he's a killer as well. I mean, Denver, with everybody playing how they have to play, they should win this series. I mean, Miami have underdog guys and guys that can work hard, and they have a culture of defense. But if you get Jokic and Murray doing what they got to do, and then let Porter understand that he's 6'10", and let Gordon understand that he's 6'9", 6'10", and can jump out the building, and they start posting up, it's hard. And to say what can Brown do for you? Christian Braun. Now, his name is pronounced Brown, but I actually worked for and played basketball with a guy named Steve Braun, spelled just like that. But he said he wants to call Brown, that we just got to call him Brown. But they should win this series. To take from my son Meech, like he said, I think Denver in 6. If it goes 7, then it's Miami. And I started laughing at that. But I said, wow, son, that's a really good prediction. So, I see that too. Denver in 6, Miami in 7. But if Miami don't hit their outside shots, what makes Miami dangerous is when they're able to hit the open shots that Adebayo and Butler creates for them. But they still haven't got Tyler, I think his name is Tyler Hero. Once he comes back, then it might be a little different. Then maybe Miami will have that automatic shooting. But I think Haslam, despite how old he is, maybe let him get in there and put that old school banging on Jokic to see if Jokic can handle that. Because right now, Adebayo is good, but he doesn't have it where Jokic is kind of fearing him. Come on, we gave Russell Westbrook credit for averaging a triple double. He's averaging that when it matters the most, when it's time to get that chip. So you got to give credit where it's due. But put your comments below. Let me know what you think about, will Denver really take it, and is this an exciting series? I think it's very exciting. They would say, I think the coach was Mike Malone, that the way he came at his team, he just attacked them. I mean, everybody's just watered down for how society is today. But coaches, they get under your skin. Coaches bring the best out of you by being tougher on you. And if you're a professional and made it to that level of the NBA and can't handle somebody getting on you, there's a problem there. Because that's how a lot of people make it, by having that person just push them, just drive them. Yes, if your criticism is harsh and disrespectful, is one thing. But if I'm telling you I need to see effort, I need to see heart, I need to see whatever, this is the NBA Finals, what are you doing? Your coach is supposed to say that to you. And if your coach can't say that to you, then he should be coaching middle school or elementary school or beginning players, because right there, it is not about a scoreboard. But when you make millions of dollars and people criticizing your legacy, yes, it's about doing what you got to do. So, shouts out to Mike Malone, because he brought the best out of his team for Game 3. We'll see if that carries on. Another topic I want to talk about is because, as you know, as I first started this, I am an all-time Raiders fan. From Oakland to LA, back to Oakland, now Las Vegas. If you remember, I made that spill the first, and I want to thank you guys, because that episode is actually my highest views ever. And because I'm new doing this, there's things I might lack, but I enjoy doing this for fun and just getting my opinions and my takes out there. But Mark Davis should be ashamed of himself. You allow a man whose legacy got built on a travesty that happened off of an amazing defensive call and play by Charles Woodson to cause a fumble to take the Raiders to that next game that they called a tuck. His hand wasn't going for it, it was not for it. So to turn around and let that happen, and all these years later, him not even admit that, yeah, it was a fumble. I fumbled it, but hey, referees make missed calls. Our franchise have went downhill since that play. And now you allow that man to become a minority owner in our team. Now, unless they're doing that to single-handedly sneak around and let Tom Brady be the backup quarterback of Garoppolo goes down, that is ridiculous. I don't know what the Raiders is doing. Their first-round draft pick, their best pick of the draft was the tight end out of Notre Dame. I'm also a Notre Dame fan, but he was the best pick out of everybody in that draft. You had cornerbacks you could have taken. You had receivers you could have took. I mean, to get into... I'm sorry. I'm very emotional. I'm like Stephen A. with the Knicks, even though I like the Knicks. I'm like that with my Raiders. And for the Raiders to not do anything of significant, they're not even trying to make a New England West. Because at least in New England, they put defense around Tom Brady for some of those years. Defense was around. With us, we're not even shoring up the defense. They get a guy who had a foot injury, another guy who was questionable about his hand or his will to want to work. They could have got the guy out of Alabama. They could have got the Joey Porter's, son. They could have got Gonzalez. And they're just picking anybody. I guess people that's not going to talk back to Josh McDaniels. I still don't know why Rich Bisaccia didn't stay. Still don't know why we got rid of our defensive coordinator and brought Patrick Graham in. I don't know what's going on with the Raiders. But remember in my take, I said Mark Davis was a jester that his father used to entertain the players during the summer camps and stuff. He was not like Jerry Jones' son that is actually in the boardroom with him and hashing out and learning the game and learning what has to go on. So because of that, we will continue to be a joke. Now, Kansas City's getting better. Denver's getting better. I think it's Los Angeles Chargers. I was always used to them being San Diego Chargers. They're getting better, and we're just stagnant. And then we bring in Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, because you bring in Garoppolo, make no mistake, Devontae Adams might not be there long. You got rid of Waller. You didn't go after Hopkins. You didn't even... Now, Dalvin Cook is free. You're probably not going to go after him to make it a thunder and lightning where we can slow the ball down and keep the ball out of the other team's offense because you can slow it down, allow Dalvin Cook the lightning, and then you have the Josh Jacobs for speed, for power, the thunder. We're not doing anything. You let Agwakwe to go. Went for Roxon, who we don't even have Roxon anymore. I think he left in free agency or we got rid of him. I don't know what we're doing as a franchise. And at my job, you get all these other guys that are Raider fans coming and we kind of have like a powwow and talking. All of us are scratching our head. Even after our draft, the main Raider fan, my man Joe, what's up Joe, called me. He's like, yo, when do you not become a Raider fan anymore? When do you say, I got to throw it in the towel and this and that? And all I keep saying to them is, hey, there are franchises that haven't won at all. So at least we have won. Also, we have one of the best stadiums probably right now. So one of my pilgrimages will be to go out to Las Vegas. And I shouldn't say pilgrimage because that's disrespecting those that actually go to Europe and Egypt for their own religious belief. So I won't say pilgrimage, but I will say one of my things is to go to Vegas to watch a game live as a Raider fan. But so that's another thing that I wanted to touch on. Was I don't know what the Raiders are doing. Sorry that it is what it is, Raider fans. We have to suck it up. Understand that as much as we love the Raiders, I said too, my number one thing was to actually boycott the games and let Mark Davis either have to sell the team or say, wow, people are not coming because we're making bad moves. But one thing about sports, guys, it's a business for these guys. They're playing a real life 2K or Madden or FIFA World or whatever game you play at home with your son or daughter. They're doing that for real. So because they're doing that for real, if you are still going to the stands and filling up and buying their popcorn and their overpriced beer and their overpriced hot dogs, they're not changing what they do for the team because they have no reason to. You're still making them rich by just going. Same thing with the Knicks. So that's what it is as far as that. I also would like to talk about the Knicks a little bit because that's my other team. And this would be my last topic, but I think the Knicks should make a run at Bob Myers. I think what he did for Golden State, where there's a luxury tax, New York already have that luxury tax, and honestly, James Dolan can afford anything. He's a multi-billionaire. The Garden sells out whether the Knicks are good or bad. This year we had a taste of the playoffs. We overachieved. I honestly believe that he should go after Bob Myers. I don't care what it takes. We already didn't keep our other guy we got that we let go. We didn't extend him. I think that's Perry, I believe. I'm wrong with the name. I'm sorry. I don't really focus on our management because I think we do some dumb things. But I think we really, really need to go after Myers. And then Dolan, just get out of his way. Just let him come to you and say, this is what I feel we should go after, and then get out of his way. Thibodeau, I think you need to turn the reverse Phil Jackson. If you remember Phil Jackson, he was a defensive guy who hired Tex Winters to run a triangle offense. I think Thibodeau is a defensive guy. Even though he's a good coach, I think he's more defensive. And you need to bring in an offensive guy who can put people in position to be successful to it. Even if they're not great scorers, maybe he could put them in a situation to be better suited for what helps their game. Because Barrett and Randall is not cutting it. There's too much pressure on Brunson, and he wore down at the end. That's why he made that costly turnover. Instead of looking for a real open man, instead of forcing it to Randall. I think Randall's energy of running off to find his family, instead of... And I don't know. We don't know what people's situation is. But I know as a competitor, even on the low levels that I played, because I was nowhere on their level, so I don't pretend to be that. But the one thing I do know is even games like that, when we lost a chip or we lost a playoff game, the last thing I wanted to do is talk to anybody at that moment. The drive home might have been bad. The ride on the bus might have been bad. The fact that he just went to his family, hugged them, and walked off, like if that's important for me. Okay, that could be important to you. Speaking from someone who has family but extended people that are family to me, that's very important. But I don't want that when we went to battle and blood, sweat, tear situation. The first thing I should have been is wanting to talk to my team in the locker room. Huddle up with them, say, hey guys, look what we did this year though. Yes, we should have beat the Heat. We didn't. We have a few things we need to do, and let's get back to the drawing board. Like right now, they should be hyped to say, look what we did with hardly no real scoring. Now let's get the scoring around our rebounding defense and our point guard. We good. So Bob Myers should be very important. And I hope the Knicks really go do that. I'm not going to keep you guys too long today. Remember, without you, there's no me. Tune in for the podcast. Me and Mr. Jonesy at Basketball Jones, JONEZ, at Trovo, TROVO.com. We're trying to still get that podcast and that technical stuff worked out. But we're experimenting with it. We're having fun with it. But thank you guys for tuning in to me here. I might have a special guest the next time I'm on. But once again, Without you, there's no me. Thank you very much. And God bless.